And you have to be that guy that you see those wonderful words that says just listed and you dive in.
You want me to blow your mind? I've yet to go to an FD round.
No way. There's a video of when I crashed at the Polecat because I rode off my front lip at Polecat because of it. I churned and the car just drove straight.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the No Name Podcast. Make sure you comment, like, subscribe. We have Mateo here. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
He is a staple to the drifting community in Florida. I've been driving for quite a bit of time now. Has had plenty of different cars.
Yeah.
For the good, for the bad.
For the convenience.
For the convenience. So tell us a little bit about your drifting journey and how you got where you are today.
So, and honestly, I used to be such a scrappy poor kid back in the day. Like, I used to be like a dumpster diving kid where I just got tires from like wherever I could get it.
Yeah.
I was like that crackhead kid itching like, hey, can I get your like takeoffs or something like that?
Yeah. Just wanted to slide.
Yeah. I started how I think everybody should really start with like a bone stock.
Yeah.
240 with a KA, just a welded diff. And
240 over 350?
Yeah, honestly, I just got rid of my 350 for a 240. So yeah, I would say so. It's the feedback that a 240 gives you is completely different to dynamic of a Z. I like to call driving a Z as like a snooze fest.
Yes.
Because yeah, it's easy and it's the most fun I've ever had thrashing with my friends in my life. But there's no drama behind driving a Z.
Yeah.
It's just, it does its job, it does it well, and that's it.
Yeah.
But it's a wonderful, wonderful tool.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any soul behind it.
I know we were just talking about this off camera. You literally just start it.
Yep.
You go drive, change the oil,
And then you do it
and that's all you
every
do.
day, and
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. But yeah, no, I started with a KA car, and I got a little bit better over time with the KA car, and grew into, just doing bigger events over time. And bro, I was at a point in my lifetime that I couldn't just like buy another car and just move into the next chassis. So I kept that going. And my friend started working at a shop who actually sponsored me. And it used to be called Group A. The owner of that shop, unfortunately, is no longer with us, but he was like the definition of like an early 2000s JDM kid that just like absolutely loved anything that came out of Japan, whether it was like a option magazine all the way to like the Sylvia that he had with like a BVLS. And he was gracious enough to give me an SR.
Gave it to you.
Give me an SR, paid his employee, whose name is Dominic. He installed the SR, and I started driving that for a while.
Wow. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, it was life-changing because it was my first time ever experiencing a car with essentially 100 more horsepower.
Yeah.
And it was
How much was your KA pushing?
probably like 130 horsepower, if that. But it was a really happy KA.
Yeah.
I miss driving KAs more than any other car, but I can't go back. Now that I have like disease and everything else, it's hard to go back to something like
You
that.
felt the power.
Yeah, the power's good. Power's a lot of fun. Power's, oh man. I'm still getting used to it too. Like every day you learn something new about having a powerful car.
Yeah.
There's still so much technique left out there to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, the SR car lasted me like, no joke, 2 events. Because I was driving it too hard. I had a really bad reputation back in the day of just blowing cars up.
Okay.
So
Did you sit on limiter? You didn't change the oil? What'd you do to blow them out?
I wasn't negligent. I just pushed too hard. I stayed in limiter for too long. I actually didn't even stay too long in limiter for this SR specifically. I got a limiter once, and it lost oil pressure, collapsed what I assume was a lifter, and threw all the walkers out of it.
Really?
Yeah. Spun bearing 1 and 4. So we took that out, and then I kind of just sat for like a long time. I didn't do anything, and kind of just shoved it because I was a really poor kid at that time.
Yeah.
I was just working at a shop in Drew Park. So if anybody in Tampa knows anything about Drew Park,
Yeah.
it's a little sketchy.
Yeah. Just every dollar that was coming in was going right back into drifting at that point, pretty much.
Pretty much. Yeah. So it was like survival, drifting once in a while, and then getting my car back running. My best friend swapped his car from one UZ to an LS, and I was like, hey, I have the exact amount of money for your swap. So I threw the one UZ in my car, and I kind of sat on it for a while. I drove it for a while because it's the only car that I had that was potentially working at that moment.
Yeah.
And for some reason, somebody on Facebook Marketplace just said, hey, I'm looking for a one UZ swapped S13 hatch. And I was the only person in Florida at that moment.
So you swapped the motor into it, but the car was running. You just didn't drive it anymore.
I just drove it like street driving just because I needed to. I just spent all my money in the swaps. Like, hey, a car again. So I was like, all right, let me just save money, drive, go to work, be normal for a little bit. Driving an open header one usually is a terrible thing to do.
Maybe a couple street drifts here and there a little bit.
Yeah. So I used to have the Volvo electric power steering way back in the day. Yeah, it wasn't figured out and it sucks.
Yeah.
It has a big dead spot. So I kind of refrained from doing that at the time because I didn't feel comfortable as a driver yet.
Yeah.
Because I used to definitely suck back in the day.
And you can't run off your car because
It's the only car I had at the moment. So now I used to just be more cautious, and being cautious in the open header V8 doesn't really align, but you do what you got to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, some guy on the internet just decided to specifically ask for my car, and there it went.
Did he make a post on like a group, or did he like straight up DM you?
No, he specifically wanted 240 of Tampa on Facebook.
Okay.
And everybody was like, hey, Mateo has this car specifically. And I'm like, okay. And at that time, $4,400 for an S chassis was a lot.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't say no. Now that's like, holy shit.
It's a highway robbery.
But I sold it, and that's when I got into Z's. And I bought my first 350Z. It was a DE car, and it had low compression. I knew it had low compression. Like, I was just like, maybe the gauge is bad. Again, young, really, really dumb. And I drove it for one event at Showtime. And this day is known as the death of Showtime. That day, I blew up my car. I split the block in half. Yeah.
It was 350?
350.
That's insane.
Yeah. But not just me. 4 other VQs dead that day. One guy flipped at Showtime.
I never knew anybody ever flipped at Showtime.
That dude flipped a red G35. It was a red or black G35 at Showtime. And it was his first day there. And I remember vividly being so angry at this dude.
What a first day.
Because I pitted next to him and he was asking questions. And as I was answering questions, he walks away and he's like, I fucking got this. You didn't know what you're talking about.
Did he know how to drift? Or
No, it was his first day there.
First event in period in his life.
As far as I knew,
Okay. Oh my.
flips his car and I was like, cool. Good job.
Kind of got what you deserve. Maybe listen.
I feel like flipping your car is a lot more than you deserve.
Yeah.
Damn, or at least listen.
Somebody's trying to give you a pointer.
Yeah, like, come on. But you asked for the pointers, what bothered me, but whatever. That same day, somebody also ripped out.
Tell us how.
How he flipped?
Yes.
Okay, so it's difficult to paint the visual for everybody, but Showtime is essentially like a big figure 8, and we always drift the most popular side of the bank, which is coming from the opposite side of the track. You go around the bank where everybody stands, and as you come down to the center section, there's the concrete and grass triangle.
You guys always did that layout? Because I know when I started coming to Showtime, which was not that long ago, that's the layout you guys were running.
It just makes sense. Yeah, easy to get in and out, and it kind of conserves tires, and we're used to it at this point.
Yeah.
But back in the day, Showtime wasn't how when you were there.
Okay.
It was like maybe half the amount of cars.
Okay.
And you got there for 2 minutes. And if you don't suck, you stay for the 2 minutes. If you suck, you get kicked out a little bit earlier.
Okay.
So this dude comes around the bank, and as he comes down, he just goes full vertical against the concrete and eventually the grass. And the grass has like a bigger dip into it.
Yeah.
Catches both wheels perfectly vertical or horizontally, I guess, and just flips. Goes on the roof and stays on the roof.
That's kind of bad luck though, because I mean, I've dropped tires at Showtime. I don't know if they've probably fixed it and added dirt or something, but
He's the only one that's ever done it, so
yeah, so bad luck.
yeah, it was bad luck.
Yeah.
So he did that, and then a dude ripped his strut tower out of his S14 on that very same spot.
Really?
Yeah, it was a bad day to drive that day, but I bought that car and sold it for the same exact price that I got that Z for that one day.
Where you sold it blown up?
Yeah.
For the same price you bought it for?
So I bought that car for $1,100 and sold it for $1,100.
$1,100? How many miles did it have on it?
130 something at that time, but the gauge showed like, I don't know, like maybe like 6-7 PSI full of pressure. But it didn't knock. It sounded fine. It sounded great, like an idiot back in the day that I was. So I was like, maybe the gauge is just wrong. It wasn't wrong. It was not wrong. It was not wrong at all. The first time, that thing needed like oil gallery gaskets or something, but it wasn't knocking, so I'm guessing the bearings were fine, but something wasn't sealing. So it wasn't getting pressure.
Was it leaking oil?
No, surprisingly, no. It wasn't even leaking a lot of the valve covers. It looked and sounded fine. I drove it to OSW like multiple times, not drifted. It's only when I actually gave it like
The beans?
the beans is when
Yeah.
it finally got hot, lost whatever amount of oil pressure at hot.
So then you got rid of that Z. Is that when you got the rattle can Z? Or did you go back to an S chassis after that?
I actually, at that same time, I used to have an S14 Koki with an SR. And obviously, I've had terrible luck with SRs. This SR blew.
Two events.
Yeah. No. I actually never drifted this one because like it was so clean. It was such a nice car. Full interior 98 Koki with like a pearl white paint. So it was actually really nice. And I got this car for $3,500. An SR swapped car with AC. And like it came with paperwork when Seafever swapped the engine and everything.
Really?
Yeah, it was a Type X swap. It was really nice, but again, I was so negligent and dumb back then that I just really want to go back in time and just really knock the shit out of myself just for how dumb and how good I had it.
Yeah.
But
you live and you learn. I mean, that's part of growing up and getting deeper into the sport and all that stuff.
Pretty much. I ended up trading the shell of that car for an RB25 Zenki.
Okay.
So a running, driving RB25 car. I really didn't care much about that car. RBs don't really inspire me as much as everyone else in the world.
Yeah.
I had the same like feeling and dread over an SR as I do for RBs.
Yeah.
Just oiling issues scare me, and I'm not mechanically inclined enough, especially at that time, to be able to handle and maintain an RB.
Yeah.
So I traded that car for a G35, drifted the G35, crashed the G35, obviously, because that's what dumb kids do.
Yeah.
And sold that and started building my LS Coupe.
So I remember you telling me about this car.
Yeah, the LS Coupe was this is like right when COVID was starting and S chassis prices were like at the verge of exploding.
Yeah.
So I got this coupe for $1,100. It was a single cam car, complete interior, complete pig nose with like the nice lip that everybody just loses their mind about because that SC pig nose lip is like gold nowadays when it's in good condition. And I sold the front end, sold the single cam K with the trans and everything else, and found a dude with a Trans Am who totaled his car, and I got the LS1 and the T56 for $3,500. Sold the engine management out of that, so I just had like pretty much an LS1 with a cam. So a good old 350 horsepower potato motor that just can party all day long.
Yeah.
So over a year, I put that together, and at the very first moment that this thing breathed air was the first day that I knew I was going to go on track. Again, I was so stupid and negligent that I just wanted to drive it, and I didn't even have radiator hoses figured out yet. But I drove it around the block and then a pull and like I was in an apartment complex, and you know those garages that you could rent. So every single day, me and my roommate will just go build this car, and like, you know, neighbors would come by, walk by, the dog, they're like, what are you doing?
Everybody's interested. Nobody knows what's going on. Like, they ask you what's your question.
But they're like, it's better than being on your phone.
Yeah, 100%. 100%, without a doubt.
They appreciate people being outside. And the first day, I pulled back into the neighborhood, and everybody's just having like a small little party, like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
And it's such a wholesome feeling. I finished putting that together, and no joke, it was like 18 shades of burgundy. I ordered a fiberglass kit from Origin it was a racing line kit from Japan, and it was every shade of different colors, stock suspension, no angle, and I'm like, cool, let's go drive.
Where is this going?
This time, like somehow that event, everything was fine.
No issues.
No issues. I street drove the car there, drifted it, and then drove it to a friend's house because I street drove it there without thinking that I was going to drift.
Yeah.
But being the little crackhead that I was at that time, and kind of still am, if you pressure me to do something stupid, 99% of the time I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So my friend's like, I have tires at home. If you go drift, go drift. And I was like, yay, sure, why not? So we go drift. And on the way home, my friend and I built the chassis harness, and it came with a fuse box that the fuse that controlled the lights of the car was too small for the wiring and for the voltage that we were running for the lights at. And I blew the fuse. So I pull over. I had a hood that wasn't like an OEM latch. It was like arrow catches, the push buttons. And, you know, in the panic of like not having lights at nighttime and also driving my S chassis with 4 people in it when it's supposed to be a 2-seater.
Yeah.
I was like, let me just get everybody home. As soon as I get back on the road, my hood just slams.
Oh, God. Oh, did you not latch it back up?
No, it was completely my fault. I goofed, dude. I goofed. So, but it's just funny little stories. It sucks because it's like everybody's dream, like Sylvia hood. It's a Type 2 Origin hood.
Yeah.
It was just such a pretty ass hood. So over time, that car, I started going to the compound with it. I did a lot more events. I remember blowing the head gasket on it because it still had the graphite gaskets, kind of super weak. Shout out to MLS. Eventually that motor did end up dynoing me as well. And then I was like just at a dead stand for a while. I got super lucky. This is like middle of COVID.
So when did you start drifting? What year did you get that first car?
I would say like between 2017 and 2018.
Okay.
I was in college.
So this is all going by pretty fast. You're doing all these swaps and everything because COVID was 2020.
Relatively, but like nothing was new. Everything was just like, you make garbage out of like good things that are garbage kind of thing. But yeah, I never wanted to not have the car.
Yeah.
So it was weird because you just find deals, friends help you, and you get to where you are thanks to everybody else and just good things that just happen to you. So luck is a huge factor to the sport.
Yeah.
Like the right time and the right place is the most real thing in the world.
Yeah. I mean, just honestly being on Marketplace all the time to like find the deals so that you can
check.
Score them because there's deals that come by all the time, but like you gotta find them.
And you have to be that guy that you see those wonderful words that says just listed and you dive in. I remember one time I found my oil pan, motor mounts, and headers for my LS swap. Honestly, if I didn't find this deal, I would have probably delayed my bill like 2 more months. So like combined value of these things from like the Canton pan and everything else that I worked at that time, it's like $1,500. Someone in a shop in Odessa was LS swapping a car and went a different direction. And they had the exact oil pan I needed.
That's when you get the best deals.
Yes.
That's when they give up. That's when you get the best deals.
Sure, man. I'll take every hands. I've got an oil pan, water mounts, and headers for $600. And I'm like, oh. And yeah, if I bought everything in retail, I wouldn't have anything in my...
Yeah, no. I mean, secondhand's the best.
Yeah. And it's the best when it's secondhand you.
Yeah. Dude, I love seeing those posts on Marketplace when so many people just like have these big ideas of these big projects that they're going to do. And like, much like you were saying, like you don't have the mechanical knowledge and they don't have the mechanical knowledge. They go straight into that project. And then like halfway through, they're like,
this is too much.
And it's been like a year of them doing this project that should have realistically taken them like a couple months.
Yeah, because they have everything ready to go. It's just the skill and the patience, I think.
Yeah.
A lot of people give up really easily.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's understandable.
I mean, you can enter in a rabbit hole very fast.
Quick.
Like
the saying while I'm here escalates.
It's insane. I know. I mean, I don't know if you watch Taylor Ray's videos at all, but you see him like, oh, we're going to do this. Well, we decided to do. And it's like, I'm freaking watching the video. Like, dude, just do it.
Just get it done.
Next thing you know, he's rebuilding the whole car.
That dude, man, I dreamed with Taylor a few times, and I remember watching him as a kid, and he was like a hero to me.
Yeah.
He was super relatable.
Yeah.
He was just an OSW guy that just drove and then just...
doesn't come from money, like really self-made all the way through, and
just super relatable, like lived with roommates.
Yeah.
Just got the chance to like exploit the garage as much as he could, help his friend build like this Ranchero. I don't know if you're getting a chance to see that, but he like Cummings swapped his Ranchero. And
no, I don't think so.
Dude, super cool. Like, it's like a Pimobile, like shag carpet everywhere, super cool, Cummings swap. Yeah, it's really cool. Just super utilitarian, super dope. But yeah, it was really fun to watch back in the day because it's like, damn, that's a dude you want to have a beer with.
Yeah.
But that dude's ground.
Cool. Oh, he's massive now. I mean, you see the car that he just built and all the stuff that he's doing with like the jet boats, and now he's doing the no prep drag car, and like, I mean, he's like, I really love I don't want to talk about him because this is about you, but I love that for so long, and obviously it comes with, you know, being able to afford it and everything, but for so long he was very sticking niche to drifting, and he built that shop at his house. And ever since he's built that shop, I feel like his channel
deviated.
It's been amazing to watch that, like, he finally had all the tools, the environment, the necessities that he needed. And he was like, okay, now we're going kill mode, if you will.
Yeah.
And he's like branched out and like he's hitting more audiences. He's doing crazier builds. And he's still very humble.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he's still doing all the work himself and all the fab and all that stuff. And he's a cool guy.
It's the kind of guy that you want to strive to be. I want to be that kind of person one day where you're just so self-sufficient that you don't have to rely on like shop labor that's such a big part of your budget. It's enormous. So having the resources to actually grow into the person that you want to be, clearly you did all the right things needed to get to that point. And it's awesome to watch.
Yeah.
I think I learned with him one time at OSW, and it's really fun to learn watching and driving with someone that you thought you were never going to see, because these people feel so unobtainable when you were younger.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Such a cool feeling.
And he's nasty behind the wheel. Like, he's so consistent and everything. So we met when you had your 350Z,
The yellow one?
the yellow one. I think we met right before you rattle canned it.
Yeah.
And you rattle canned the whole car. And I remember we had met, maybe talked like once or twice. You rattle canned that car, and then like a couple months went by, and I started seeing people post about you, because it's like, this guy literally rattle canned his whole car, inside, outside. That's when you had your shop in St. Pete or something.
No, it was in Plant City, but
Plant City.
that, yeah.
That was amazing. But you drove that car for quite a bit of time. You were a madman behind the wheel of that car.
So that car was a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So before that car, I had the second version of the LS Coupe.
Okay.
That I reached a point that I thought, like, I am not a driver for this car. This car is too pretty. I cannot replace this car if I heard it.
Yeah.
I'm not there yet. So,
and you drive hard, like,
at that point,
no,
not yet.
Not yet.
I gotta, like, be honest, man. I could get around the track and not spin, but I don't think I could throw down with anyone at that point. I wasn't like reliably tandeming with anyone at that point. So no, the Z was the whole like sacrificial driving of, I don't have a cool car, but man, I want to drive more than anyone else.
Yeah.
Do like the whole scrappy idea of like, I'm outside and you're not, just because I get to drive. And it's not cool, but I'm still learning at that moment.
And you're okay hurting that car.
Oh yeah,
it's just another Z. And
oh, by the way, those cars are tanks.
Yeah.
That's the strongest car. Any other car, I would have shifted the rear end by inches. That car was like, cool.
Yeah.
What else we got?
Yeah.
There's such good tools, man. But yes, I started getting serious with that car and a combination of sim driving.
Yeah.
So my first ever event with that car was at the Freedom Factory.
Oh, sick. I need to drive that track. I've heard it's huge.
Yes.
And everything, and like
deep.
Yeah, that's what I heard
and
too.
And it tapers off at the top.
Yeah.
I never got a chance to drive it when it was DeSoto. That's for like all the OGs.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
Yeah.
But it was still fun. Apparently back in the day, it was like a death toll in cars because it was super bumpy and super full of potholes.
Yeah.
And now it's the whole concrete section is impossible to drive if it gets like a single drop of water.
I saw that during the Clutch Kicker series. Everybody was spinning out and everybody was bitching about it. And then at the end of the series, they started talking about grading it, or like scraping up the concrete to give it more grip. You didn't hear about that?
I hear about that.
Cletus made a video and he was talking about how he was going to essentially like sandpaper the concrete. I don't know if sandpaper is the right term that I'm using, but he was going to make it rough so that when it does rain, the guys could still have traction.
Yeah, because it feels like you're driving on an inch of water.
Yeah, and then they never had a season 2 over there, so then that happened.
Probably for the best. The first words that came out of people's mouths whenever Clutch Kickers was announced at the Freedom Factory was like, oh, cool, this is just mini FD.
Yeah.
Because like when it was Emerald Coast, it wasn't a battle of horsepower car. No, it was a barrel looker driver.
Dude, and that's what made Clutch Kickers. So on that note, it didn't die, but them losing that track and going to the Freedom Factory kind of killed, but it didn't really kill it, but killed Clutch Kickers.
Yeah.
Now they're going to Mid Pond. What's your take on Mid Pond?
I have not had the pleasure of going to Mid Pond. I've had the pleasure of meeting Ken, and Ken is this sweetheart of a drifting.
Yeah.
That dude has the same exact feel as an old man that we do as kids, going out there and just to shred. But I've seen a lot of videos of Mid Pond, and it's a technical go-kart style track.
Yeah.
And it's exactly what we need. Because a dude with an HRZ like us can go out there and be close to everybody because it's smaller, it's still technical, it's fun. There's no real room to open up all that horsepower in a big tire, and you can still have good, close, fun-looking battles. So I'm stoked to see it. I wish I could compete. I wish I had the budget to compete.
Are you doing anything Clutch Kickers Mid Pond related this year that you plan on?
Not in the budget.
No?
No, I'm focused on saving up for Japan right now.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that before.
Japan might happen, it might not, but
you're shooting 2025, 2026?
Hopefully 2025. Me getting this new coupe is a big, like, wrench in that budget plan, but it was too good of a deal to pass up.
Yeah.
So, but I cannot wait to see what's going to happen with the clutch kickers. I think it's going to be not a rebirth because like everybody's already there and ready to go, but I'm hoping that battles are looking closer.
Yeah.
Oh, so actually, speaking of clutch kickers, I was a spotter for Brian. I was a spotter for Brian Bosia during the whole Dirk Stratton and him. I don't
Oh,
know.
were you really?
Dude, there's a video out there of me just losing my fucking mind on like the radio. I'm like, jump the line, jump like on the radio. I'm like, jump the line for the love of God. Just
Yeah.
jump the line so you can keep up. And everybody around me was losing their shit. And not even at the battle anymore. Just how erratic I was being at the. I lost my voice because of that battle. It was the best moment in drifting I've seen in a long time, just purely out of like a stout G35 and nitrous on G35 Walmart tires.
Yeah.
And dirt stripe.
The way Brian drove that car,
Nobody else can do that.
dude, he is nasty behind the wheel too. And now Darren's taken over, his son, and he's doing phenomenal also. Like,
It's a great. Darren is a phenomenal evidence of why drifting in the sin works.
oh, dude, his first time out at Showtime, like
Ripped.
not having any issues or anything like that. So Darren's 14-year-old, and he's Brian's son. Brian's madman behind the wheel. And Darren has been drifting on the sim for probably like 4 or 5 years.
God knows, probably more.
Yeah, and I mean, great on the sim. And then he moved over Showtime. So because of his age, a lot of the local there's pretty much 2 local tracks to us: OSW, which you have to be 16, and Showtime. And when he first started driving, was he even 14 or was he 13 at the time?
I don't know. There was a whole big thing about that.
Like,
He got mad at us, and I don't blame him, but I also would want him to let us do things.
yeah,
But I
but
think he was 14 or 13.
yeah, I think he might have been 13, on the verge of 14, and it was like, no, you can't drive, but we'll let you take a lap. And he just blew everybody's mind. His first lap out in the car, just linking the track, whatever. And then they're like, okay, next time you can do like a couple, and now he can drive
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he scratched into me the first time I drove with him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was on like Novas, and I was on like whatever tires on the rental, and then there goes my fender and door.
Oh, I remember that. That wasn't that long
Oh
ago.
no, that was this year.
Yeah.
Man, a lot happens.
Dude.
Lately.
I was doing my 2024 end of year recap,
Yeah,
and I'm looking at everything throughout the year. I'm like, it's been 1 year.
and it feels like so much has happened, but you also feel like nothing's happened at that moment.
It's so insane. It's so insane. I think it's the age that we're at, where like everything's kind of like career-wise, hobbies-wise, like life-wise in general. Like everything happens so fast, but it's so slow because I don't know. It's a weird feeling that we're in.
A year is not a long time.
No.
Honestly, his drifting has developed as well. It's not a long time. And what you did specifically in a year. Because I remember like, 3 years ago, you were just another Showtime guy
Yeah.
doing just fun runs with Tyler all the time.
Yeah. That's it.
And now look what's going on.
So yeah,
It's very cool.
It's been insane. It's been an insane time. And then we all started driving together at Showtime. Did the 5-6 car trains that we did at Showtime. Legendary, dude. And like,
Fun.
nobody ever really messed up their cars that bad. Like, we did a couple of things here and there.
But that's part of it.
Yeah, but dude, for the amount of 5-6 car tandems that we ran, the amount of times we did it, the little amount of damage that happened, we gotta have some sort of record out there because that was a lot of driving.
So back in the day, the first time I went to Showtime, like a 2-car tandem was like cool.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw a 3-car tandem was an E36, the nicest SR coupe I've ever seen in my entire life. I think the guy who owned it is called Brandon Bears. And it was like a 2-tone seafoam green car and something else. The first 3-car tandem I've ever saw, both those cars were written off
Really?
at Showtime.
That probably puts a little bit of a...
No, I wasn't driving it.
No.
Every time you get in the car and drifting, especially at OSW, you don't know if you're going to get out of your car.
Yeah, but it's all good and fine.
Yeah.
So Drift Masters, Formula Drift. Drift Masters really blew up, I feel like, this year.
Yeah.
With their stadium
Mhm.
driving and all that good stuff. What's your take on the two comparable to each other?
I think Drift Masters is an actual drifting competition. It's incredibly well organized. If you go and watch the stream, let me just step back. I don't watch FD the day off anymore because it's so boring and slow and just feels so geriatric at this point that it's easier to just wait a day, now look at social media to see who won.
And then just
Watch.
get through
Just get
the
through.
live stream, the post live stream.
One little thing happens
Yeah.
and it's like, check out our BC break and like, oh, and sponsor breaks. And it's like 30 minutes of delays almost every time.
Yeah.
Drift Masters, first of all, the difference in skill in car and driving and the variety between the cars is day and night. That is a proper competition. Like if to compare in like grip sense, like if Drift Masters was F1, I think Formula D is like F4.
F4. I was wondering how low on the totem pole you were gonna go.
The cars are just as capable. The drivers are good, but I don't think they hold a candle to Drift Masters. Adam Z was a great introduction to the difference in skill.
Yeah.
Adam walked into Drift Masters and I knew how good those guys were and where Adam was. Yeah. And me being like, obviously I'm nowhere nearly as good as those guys, but that's a big gap. And he grew into it.
I mean, it's also kind of proven when you see Dean coming into FD, you see Peter coming into FD, and you see Connor.
And they eat everything. They ate everybody up.
It's like cereal for breakfast. They're just like, and then what was it this year? It was 3.
I think Jack Shanahan's going to drive as well. So both Shanahan brothers are going to drive this year, and that's very exciting.
Yeah.
It really increases my attention towards FD again.
Yeah. You just want to see the drivers, not necessarily
the show. Because as a kid, I was like, yeah, FD's great. Like, I've never missed a year of going to OSW because it's close and it's still great driving. It's still a fun track. And I think it's one of the only FD tracks you like stand at the wall.
Yeah.
And there's
and the cars are there flying by you.
This year I missed it.
You want me to blow your mind? I've yet to go to an FD round.
No way.
Not one.
OSW is a good one.
I've never seen a pro car drive.
I mean, you drove with Dan.
In his practice car.
Oh, that was a practice car?
Yeah. The closest thing to a pro car that I've seen drive is Lewis's car, and it's a pro spec car.
Damn, dude. I drove with an FD car at a fucking showtime.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tyler drove with Dan's pro car in Georgia. It might have been the practice car. Who drove a pro car at Showtime?
João Barian.
I don't even know who that is.
He's the Brazilian driver with the C7 sponsored by Monster.
I don't even know who that is.
So he was at Showtime to practice for clutch kickers.
Okay.
And everybody was too chicken shit scared to like talk to the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I still had the fever dream at the time of doing clutch kickers in my Z before I found out that you couldn't have a cage. You couldn't compete if you didn't have a cage. I was like, shit. Well, whatever. I guess I'm out for a little bit. And I was like, hey man, I'm practicing for clutch kickers too. Do you want to go for a quick rip? And he was like, I don't know who you are. I was like, that's great. I'm driving this yellow car. And he was like, sure. And we go out there, and in my chase, he listening to an FE car behind you.
Oh, is that
just ecstasy essentially.
You don't even hear your Z.
No, not at all. I just lock in and just look forward and just pretend that he's not there and just drive as fast as jerk his used tires for Lenny Trot. And man, the chase was essentially pointless too.
Yeah.
That dude took off, hit fourth gear, and I was still entering the bank.
Oh, I'm sure. It's insane.
It's a big difference in power, but if you get a chance to drive an FD car, it's eye-opening.
I'd like to just drive an FD car.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome.
I love that. I'm trying to scam Lewis every time we talk about like our cars and everything. Yeah. He's like, do this. I'm like, oh, that's fine. Yeah, I'll go. I'll just drive your car. Hey, no. Never even for a split second is he like, maybe I'll let you drive my car. It's just like an instant like shutdown to the idea.
No.
You're not doing it.
Man, he should. It's honestly, I was the same person. I let other drivers drive my car sometimes. I know it's a little bit sketchy to like let somebody else, but for example, I let my friend Jack Dixon drive my car at Polkat, the JZX at Polkat.
Really?
And it was having issues.
Well, he's used to right-hand drive.
No, he's not.
Is his left-hand drive?
He has an S13 that's left-hand drive, and that's all he's ever driven. He's never drifted right-hand drive as far as I knew.
Okay, and Polkat's the first track?
Polkat's the first track.
Yeah, sketchy.
I trust Jack in my life.
Yeah, he's a great driver. Oh, amazing driver.
Yeah. And Jack gave me some feedback, and it made sense, and it was a good door for me to walk into. I go to Wrench Masters for a lot of my suspensions, and I was like, this is what I want. And my car feels like $1,000 better car.
So why didn't you do the suspension work yourself?
I did at first.
Okay.
I did everything at first. All the installation and everything else, but the alignment, I just don't have an alignment machine.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a friend named Henry who we just finished his car as well. He worked at Nissan, and I installed my angle kit there. I did all like the suspension stuff, but I had an incident with 09 where they shipped me arms and didn't have the sleeves. in the bushings. So over time, my bushings disintegrated apart while I was at Polcat. So I went from having a car with like very fresh new suspension to a car that I almost totaled twice at Polcat.
How'd you almost total it?
Essentially, the control arms didn't have the sleeves in the where it goes into the subframe. So the first day, the car felt amazing
Yeah.
because the suspension was working.
And everything was nice and tight?
Pretty much. And at the end of the day, the holes that bolt the controller into the subframe, the big bushings were essentially starting to oval out and stretch.
Yeah.
The rubber was like getting softer and softer. So I jacked up my car and I could grab the steering, the wheel, and move it more than 4 inches
That's insane.
per side. Like I could move this wheel back and forth 4 inches because the controller would move that much.
That's insane. Did it feel? Could you feel it when you were driving? Like, could you tell it was getting progressively worse throughout the day?
There's a video of when I crashed at the Polcat because I rode off my front lip at Polcat because of it. I churned and the car just drove straight. Like I like clutched in, e-braked, and turned the steering wheel. And you can see me turn the steering wheel. The car just drove completely straight.
Oh, that's so scary.
There was a media guy that caught it in an 8K essentially.
Oh my
And
God.
he was like, it doesn't make sense. It looked like you did everything you were feeling and you just went straight. And I'm like, I don't know.
I did do everything I was
Yeah.
supposed to.
But you're in a drift event and you're like, I just have to keep driving. And at that moment, I was checking for stuff, but you're a pole.
That goes back to the crackhead energy where you're just like, I want to drive, I want to drive, I want to go. And you drove, what, 14 hours to go to Polcast? So you want to get every last minute seat time that you can.
And it's Polcat, dude.
Yeah.
That track is great.
Good. So that track, Matt, open it up to the drifters, and then now Chase Base is having an event there.
Like 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that the gnarliest track you've driven? Have you driven AMP?
No, I never driven AMP. I've gone on ride-alongs at AMP.
Yeah.
But AMP feels a little bit faster than Polcat.
Yeah.
But I like the flow of Polcat better.
I can agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
I drove both. I drove Polcat last year with you in November-ish, something like that. And then AMP this year for the 4th of July. Agree 100%.
Yeah.
Was what you're saying. AMP, I was in second gear and I couldn't comfortably link the whole track in second.
Yeah.
I had to click third, but I was still in like my 430 gear ratio in the vet.
It's very short.
And my car can't go third. It just doesn't like it. I need more power. So that's why I got the 290 gear.
Oh, wow. Oh,
and
wait, you went from a 430 to a 290?
No, 390.
Oh, okay.
390. And I did it in the other vet.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the diff, like 3 events later that I blew up at SEMA when I was driving there.
That's right. Wait, didn't you get a chance to drive with James Dean, or was it like a separate thing?
No, it was the horsepower rodeo. So they were doing the Optima battery. No, I think there's 3 places that they drift. Optima battery, the RTR experience,
The whole thing.
and then there's the horsepower rodeo, which the horsepower rodeo, madness, dude. It's literally summer gnats in America.
Like straight burnouts.
The big blower cars with like that stuff.
Like they push the cam through the brake and they're just like arcing forward.
Yeah, like
So cool, bro.
I don't have a choice, but like the car just inching forward.
That.
And that's all that it was. And then they invited like a few drifters out, and there was dudes like, there's this guy, Pack Performance. He drives a white, what is the car, the Mustang, the Fox body.
Oh yeah.
He drives a white Fox, fresh carbon fiber panels.
Yes, I saw this online.
You saw, and
You smoked.
And what's so funny is he hits the wall, which like if it's fresh panels and you don't want to hit it while you're hitting the wall,
Yeah.
hits the wall, and then he's like, I gotta go find my carbon fiber. It's like, bro, your shit's blown to smithereens. Like, you're never gonna, and like even if you do find it, what are you gonna do with it?
Did you see the video of him getting out of the car?
I don't think I was right there. So
There's a video. He gets out of the car, looks, and just like like fuck. All right, so good.
I mean, granted, it's fair, but I think he works for a carbon fiber company.
Oh, that's easy then.
So it's like,
Getting higher in supply.
I'm sure whatever we get those panels for, he's getting them for much cheaper. But that car, the way it's built, it's like on some big old 18s. It's almost like a monster truck fitment. And he parties, dude. I drove with him, not with him, but he was at Hot Pit when we were there. He was doing the fun day. Dude, he gets down in that car. Like, I don't know what all's going on under the hood, like differential wise, transmission wise. It doesn't seem like it's that much, but then I think it's straight axle.
So it's like shortened, everything's kind of tubbed, and he just rips the throttle and doesn't let go.
Yeah, but like he kept tearing it every day. don't quote me on this. I don't know. But like, I know one of the days when my car broke, I was like, what are you guys doing? He's like, oh, we have to re-weld it. I was like, no shit. He's like, yeah, we welded it yesterday. Gotta weld it again today.
Holy
So this was day 3 and they're on their second time welding it.
Jesus Christ. Okay. They're putting torque, a lot of torque.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Talking about like being committed to driving. My shit broke. I'm like, tow truck, the shop.
Somebody help. I get that. Oh, man. Speaking of like track repairs, man, that's when I've had more fun doing like a quick 5-minute track repair before a comp or during a comp than like some battles that I've ever had. So I've been training people and teaching people how to drive. And I have one specific student that has my old car. Right before King of OSW, he was driving really brindle actually. For some reason, there was like a big rough pothole in the very last corner, not very last corner, but the last section of OSW. There is like the OSW used to be like a perfect square. And when you're going
OSW's a perfect square.
kind of like the big parking lot, rectangle, sorry.
Okay.
It's a big rectangle. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, what part of OSW's talking about?
My bad. But on the very last section, everyone has been like dipping a tire, like taking like chunks of the track away.
Yeah.
That it's like 50-50 grind your car at this point if you go off.
Jesus.
And he did. My student did that. And he bent the caster arm. No, he bent the toe arm. And he gets back and like kind of like what you were saying about him. He gets back with like the wheel wobbling around. And then it's like 10 minutes before comp starts. I don't have a part. I don't have anything. But Brian was there. And God bless Ryan.
Lucia?
Yeah.
Dude, madman. Love the guy.
D beats a brand new tire. And I'm like, all right, the tire guy's just closed. So I like take off this tire, knock on the window. I'm like, please, just can you please remount this tire for me? And they're like, yeah, we don't give a shit. Go. So they mount the tire and there's just like 5 dudes that are like we're competing against.
Yeah.
And also like just hanging out, just throwing down in this car.
Oh, that shit's the best.
Oh,
That's the best.
so beautiful.
When
man.
everybody comes together, it's like, doesn't matter if I'm competing against you. Like,
You just want to see everybody compete.
yeah.
It's beautiful and wholesome. And it's the only sport I've ever seen that people just stop to help others.
Yeah.
It's awesome. You'll never see that in a drag racing place.
Oh, that kind of goes back to Drift Masters. I don't know where I saw this, and you could probably know better than me. I saw this video where it's like, if you go to FD, right, and they will ask you like, what gear ratio are you running, or what suspension, like how many clicks or whatever, what tire pressure. They're gonna ask you like all these things, and like nobody shares the details. But you go to Drift Masters, and apparently they'll give you every piece of information you want, because like I'm beating you because I'm better than you, not because it's my car that's better than yours.
That's what makes battles better.
Yeah, and I don't know where I saw it. It might have been Josiah or maybe Adam talking about it in one of their videos, or maybe just like some random Instagram clip that I saw.
Yeah.
But I love that. It's like you're the skills thing, but it's like the driver.
If everybody gets better,
Yeah.
then you can only go up together at that point.
And the drifting is such a low totem sport right now. So it's like, give that guy your info, have him beat you. Now you get your shit together and beat him next time, because get your skill level up. And it's awesome. I love that. It's so good.
It's good growth. It's just like that guy is gonna go and talk about you, how you helped him out. And if you're, let's say, like a business owner who sells car parts or something like that, you're gonna have word of mouth.
Yeah.
That's what sells nowadays.
Which is what most of drifting is at the end of the day. All those guys on top levels.
And you're somebody who's a reliable source of information, helps, proves and goes to the sport and doesn't act like you're the biggest dick in the world.
Yeah.
And you actually show up to events and hang out with the little guy, which I still consider myself a little guy. I'm going to respect everything about your business, your product, and your ethic. And I will be more than happy to throw down as hard as I can every single lap with you, purely out of the respect that you made me gain by not being a huge gatekeeper and helping the sport grow.
Like podcasters say, clip that. No, I do. I agree 100%. It's beneficial in the long term for everybody to do that. So you had a Mr. Racing,
Oh yeah, MR Racing,
MR Racing. It's not Mr. What does the MR stand for?
Mateo Rendon.
Oh, I guess. I could have guessed that. So you bought a 350Z after you sold your yellow 350Z, took a little bit of a break from drifting, and you got that 350Z. After how many months did you take a break from drifting before you started getting into that?
I sold the Z because I wanted to buy a JZX. Bought the JZX, and
Bought a Z. So
they're good. They're really good. They're really fun. Because you can I can't thrash that hard with my friends. I can not just go to a junkyard and get a Z door. I'm sorry. Yes, I can, but I can't do that with a JZX.
yeah.
So I got this Z from a friend who got, a lot of people don't realize how much commitment there actually is behind driving.
Yeah.
It's not just like, yeah, I buy a part. It's like, holy fuck, I have to become my own mechanic. I have to like study, understand what every single one of these parts do. I'm not just throwing things and it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Not
And financially too.
Yeah.
You have to buy all those parts and
correct.
everything.
When you're just a dude that you just have a house and that's all you have, you don't have like a whole team.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder.
Yeah, for sure.
So I bought that car from him, and in my brain, I'm like getting a little tired of like spending all my money on cars. How do I?
Are we all?
Yeah, gee, how do I make cars kind of start working for me, but not just benefit myself, but help others kind of develop to the sport? And I very quickly realized that it's a lot of people don't want to just dive into that commitment.
Very expensive.
It's very expensive initially. Like once you have a car that's all set up, you buy tires and fuel and the entry, and
Yeah.
you're driving for the weekend.
Yeah.
But a car, figuring out your car,
To get it to that point,
it's a big expense.
it's I'm gonna deviate real quick, but it's almost kind of like a sim, right? And I actually want to talk to you about that. But I'm at a point right now. I bought a G923 because I didn't want to dive in to the full setup
Full DD, yeah.
to see what I would, if I would like sim driving. Hated sim driving because the steering wheel sucks. And
Toy.
yeah, it's
It's a toy. No offense to any G29 drivers. I started with one, and I got with it, but
But
DD is the way.
is so much better, even on a sim level, which is much more cost effective, to maybe find a friend with a sim or rent an hour on the sim to see what it's really like, to see if you're gonna like it, versus buying a stock Z, no angle, no handbrake, no suspension, nothing, and then like doing a couple laps out, can't figure it out, and then like you just kind of give up because you realize how much work is gonna get needed to get it to the level where it's like a good car.
Yeah.
Versus just renting and being like, oh, I love this. Okay, now I'm willing to dive into the sport.
Yeah, and adding to that, I was pretty much there to help alleviate the frustration behind driving.
Yeah.
Starting is like, oh, I suck because I spend it every single moment. It's like,
Yeah.
you're new to something. You're
Because
learning something.
when people rented your car, you offered training to go along with it.
Of course. And I felt more comfortable training new people as well. Instead of just renting the car, it was
And then to just go off on their own
just go off and around.
with your car.
Yeah, no, it's still a little bit, it was, and also the new car is going to be still a rental, so I'm still doing this.
So I was going to say, Mr. S chassis guy.
Yeah, no, the new rental is going to be a 5.1 horsepower JZ powered S13. So if you want to rent a cool car, I'm your guy.
So that's, you're still going to do the renting for sure.
Yeah, of course.
When is that car going to be ready to be rented out, you think?
I'm not going to say because I don't want to rush this car. That's something that I realized when I was building cars, is that if I set myself a deadline, I'm going to maybe cut a corner or two to meet that deadline.
Yeah.
And I'd rather just think this thing be as reliable as possible. So it's like the Z version of an S13 where I can give you like a JZ power car that makes cool, good power and will handle and drive like a proper car and be good at just that.
It was the whole concept behind it of you made the trade with Brandon. Was the whole concept of it where you kind of wanted a little bit something more for yourself. V still wanted to do because the Z just wasn't cutting enough.
The Z was absolutely cutting edge. I think
She's a big ass chassis.
yeah, big S chassis guy did. I drove an S chassis in a Polka and I was like, wow, this is so good. I just miss the nimbleness, the grip that an S chassis has, and the aggression that an S chassis has. It's light, it's aggressive, it's just so unpredictable sometimes too. But I don't know. A Z is cool, but it's heavy. It doesn't fulfill those needs that I want.
It's once you go and you drive other chassis, like starting on a Z is great, but once you go and you drive other chassis and you go back to the Z, it's very vanilla.
Yes.
It's you don't get that oof to it. It's nice because like you just go and like you just like go as fast as you can. You huck it into a corner. You stay mad at it on top, and you're like, ooh, yeah.
That's it. To drive a Z, you smash on the fucking gas,
Yeah.
point a little bit, and that's how you drive a Z. It's smash and go. And S chassis is work. It's light, it's
Yeah.
impressive, it's snappy.
It's what happened to me at Fall Double Down, not this year, last year, so 2023. Andrew, who's actually behind the cameras there, he drove my Z up to Fall Double Down. I drove my Corvette up, and I had been driving my Corvette a little bit. I ended up T-boning a guy who he's now part of Team No Tread, Michelangelo. You know who you are. He got off track, and no offense, this dumbass decided to like go back on track in the middle of me like exiting the track and like cut the exit.
Bro, no.
T-boned him.
Little rookie mistake.
Dude, car was fine.
Your car was
Radiator was fine. Radiator mount was fine.
Your fiberglass car was fine.
Not one issue with it.
Wow.
But the clutch stopped working.
Oh yeah, it's still a C6.
Couldn't figure it out why. Ended up switching out the clutch, whatever. But I drove the car because Andrew drove off the Z. So I ended up driving that car the rest of the weekend, and we kind of like shared the beauty of the Z. He would hot lap the fuck out of it, get out. I would get in, hot lap the fuck out of it, get out. He would hot, and then we were just walking back and forth. Oh, and it's like you're getting the chill time that you need, but like he's driving it. Like the car doesn't need chill time.
Yeah.
Only the human behind the machine.
It will outdrive you.
Yeah. But I was having fun, but I was so bored behind driving it that I was on Tyler's door the whole time I was driving, literally just on his door, and his passenger side door was already messed up. That I'm literally, you know, that ledge that drops off?
Yeah, we had one guy smoked it this year. Yeah.
So every time we enter that area and I'm on his door and I'm just sitting there bored, his door's already dented. So I'm just clutch kicking, just sitting there driving, clutch kicking, literally like 10, 15 clutch kicks in one long sweeper. And I started getting so aggressive that I started pushing him towards the ledge.
No.
And one time we got off the track, he's like, bro, you need to chill. Like, you're literally just like, but his door's already messed up. So like, I'm now trying to do a nice door tap at that point. I'm bored behind the wheel of the Z. I'm just trying to like, I'm literally just pushing him. He's like, bro, you're about to push me off the ledge. Like, chill out.
No, that's awesome. Tyler's a cool driver. Good driver. You guys improved a lot in like not a long time.
We've done a lot of seat time.
Yeah, it's been. Yes, you guys have. Holy shit,
it's insane.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
and that's the way to go.
Yeah,
just drive as much as
full time, seat time. But he's I was watching clips back because we did an OSW private day. I was watching clips back of me driving the new car, so I'm getting used to it. And you don't really know this, but my other car that when it was here, I had power steering issues, power steering pump issues. And then like I had FDF on it. So like the alignment kept going out of whack. And I started having to drive the car so hard. And so I started making all these like crazy, weird. Yeah. So I started driving pretty bad. Got Andrew's car and I started really feeling how.
Was it a Weiss up car?
Yeah. And guess what I bought for the other car? Yeah. So I started driving it and it felt like different. I'm looking back at the footage. Bro, Tyler's already 3 fingers on the wheel.
Just tiptoeing around the wheel.
Dude, it's insane. And like, granted, his car's set up, but he's so good that he's just like throwing it. Okay, good. Throwing it. Okay,
he
good.
does drive with his wrists like this, I noticed. Yeah, like, he drives like this. Yeah.
They're literally cocked like this, 3 fingers, and he's just like...
He's chilling, though.
Yeah.
He looks very comfy in that car.
It's insane. And it's like, we've made so many jokes about it, like, over time, that, like, he just drives like a...
T-Rex.
Yeah. But, like, he's got that car under control. He's never panicking. He's always chilling. And he's always, like, just doing his thing. Like...
That's awesome.
It's awesome. Yeah.
That was good. But, yeah, no, to circle back on the whole idea of getting the Z and starting the business that I had, or still have, I guess. It was purely just the idea of like, I want to just help people and also just fund my own little fun projects.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
That funded me being able to get injectors for for the JZX and tuning that, finally like dialing that down. Is like the whole goal was to drive Polka with that car. I actually feel higher horsepower, not high, but higher horsepower for the first time.
I mean, mid 400s.
Nowadays, that's just...
Yeah, but when you go from 260 on a good day, like you were talking about with the Z, to a 400 plus horsepower car, you feel it
day and night.
It's
so fun.
Like I never realized that 150-ish horsepower could make.
It's a car. It's a car's worth of power.
Yeah, it's insane.
And our cars are still relatively light, but that helped. And the first day that I rented it out was to a couple. So it was two people that rented it at the same time. And it's funny because some of the people in that private day that were there were people that went to Showtime.
Okay.
And I was still that guy that I was an okay driver enough to sit in the car, and I enjoy teaching so much and seeing people link a corner for the first time that Aaron, who hosts the events at Showtime, always just grabs my head and says, "Go, I'll help this person." And the kid that was there, his name is Drew. His parents were there, and they kind of always been there with me when Drew's there, and we kind of talk and chat, and just such a wholesome moment because the couple kind of walked up at the end of the day, and they're like, "We appreciate you this opportunity to learn something. We believe in your vision.
Yeah.
It's really cool that you're not just here just to take away, but to give something else back." And then Andrew walks up and his parents walk up, and it's kind of the whole same conversation to the point that I just had to cry.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big emotional baby, and all these people just saying all these nice wholesome things about something that I thought was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, you drive my car and then I'll help you out. It was just kind of a big.
I mean, at the end of the day, you on your own are expanding the sport tremendously by just giving all the people you teach to drive and all the people you rent your car out to, whatever, they don't have an exposure to drifting.
Got a skill ability at that point.
Every single person, that's another person that's potentially going to help grow the sport.
Yeah.
As time goes on.
3 of my students have already bought cars.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, dude.
Oh my God, you're putting people in financial burden.
The first thing I tell them is, whatever you do from here is not my fault. You made that choice.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But it seems silly, but the domino effect that happens of just allowing someone to try something for the first time and just get to enjoy something that I consider so beautiful.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It's like a kid riding a bike for the first time.
Yeah. And what if that kid one day grows up to be the biggest BMX name in the name? That's kind of the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Giving someone a resource and then they run with it and grow and become someone they never thought they could be. That's beautiful, bro. That's so gorgeous.
I know, kind of going all over the place, but you have that student who bought your Z.
Yes.
The Rattle Can Z.
Yes.
His name starts with a Y.
Yeah, Giannis.
Giannis. That kid, I mean, I saw that you sold the Z to him and you've been teaching him. You've gone out multiple times to help him figure it out. What is the story behind that? Because he seems very young. He was in go-karting before.
Well, I don't know if he still is, but yeah, he was competing in the Ukrainian national championship in the Ukraine.
Ukrainian.
Yes, he escaped Ukraine.
Okay.
Came here, and it's been there was a school in Ukraine that it looks like a big stadium where he used to practice and putter around with an E36, a very mild angle kid. But he also used to do ice go-karting.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, right? So seeing him hop into my car was just dude, that's me driving that car a year later. He walked into this car. I was like, why am I even here?
Because he was just that good right off.
He was right off the bat. Yeah.
Really?
But I realized that there was a lot of details that we had to work out, especially in tandem driving.
Oh, of course. I mean, you can link the track, but between linking the track and actually
tandem driver,
there's a world of a difference.
It's a completely different skill set.
Yeah, it's a lot more.
So his biggest issue that I've experienced, and we're still working on it, is, and personally, I still have this problem too, because I'm out of practice, unfortunately, at this point.
Yeah.
It's driver psyche. It's feeling the pressure and having the ability to stay calm under a competition setting.
Yeah.
While he's under any high pressure tandem setting, he can rip around the track and do a solo rip, and it's wow, this dude is the best or whatever. But you put him behind a good driver or in front of a good driver, and this kid just shut the bed.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. I mean, with driving with Andrew when we first started, I remember that. It's when you're behind 20 feet seems like 2.
Yes.
And when you're in the front, all you can think about is don't spin out, don't spin out. And then what you do?
You spin out. If you think about it enough, it's kind of like target fixating.
Yeah.
They always tell you, if you look at that cone or you look at that wall, you're going to hit it.
Yeah.
Just turn your brain off and just let muscle memory do the rest.
Yeah.
And we're still working on it. He's gotten significantly better. He has improved a lot. He's comfortable in trains now. He's comfortable diving in. He's comfortable with initiating and being comfortable. But he has something that I personally just nitpick to death. And I've seen a lot of people crash because of it.
Yeah.
Is that when they lead, they turn around and look at the car behind them. And
yeah, but dude, it's so sick to see the car behind you.
But we do it.
Yeah.
Because holy shit, this is cool.
You know what you're doing.
You know what you're doing.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're in panic and you're how close is this guy next to me? Holy shit, he's right here. You fuck up.
Yeah.
So that try to like just coerce him to like, hey, try this. But I don't know if you've ever been around racing drivers, but these people have egos. Like,
Oh yeah.
there are people that like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And it's like, no offense, but I built that car to my settings and I know what that car can or cannot do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are not doing it as what that car could do.
Yeah. And I don't see you in FD. So like if there's somebody giving you pointers so that you don't flip your G35 at showtime.
Yeah, pretty much. It got all circles back, right? Actually, his stepdad on the way back kind of like explained to me outside of drifting, he's also improving. He used to be like an ego kid who used to blame everything on everything else. So when he makes a mistake, he blames the car.
Yeah.
When something else goes wrong in his life, he blames something else.
Yeah.
He told me that due to the training and everything that he's experienced just because of drifting and how we have kind of like pushed the idea that maybe it's not the car's fault, but you made a mistake.
Yeah.
He started applying that to his day-to-day life.
That's
He
awesome.
improved in school. He improved in like social situations, and another like tear-worthy moment just from like this one little idea that I have like helping people how to drive. So much can come out of it.
What's awesome about you making that comment though is it's a peer almost, right? Like you're not, but you're almost kind of like on the same level as what he is in terms of amateur based driver. You're obviously significantly better, and you're not like that far off in age, right? To where like he can almost see you as like a cool older brother
Pretty much.
that's giving you pointers. And then like once your cool older brother is giving you pointers and you decide to listen to them and they work, then it's like, oh, maybe he's right. And then like you apply it to your life. It's not the annoying parent, it's not the annoying teacher, it's the cool older brother.
It's
And
the guy that's doing the thing.
yeah,
Just wants you to do better.
yeah,
So just, it's not bad advice. It's not me giving you shit or bullying. It's instruction.
yeah. You're not there to screw with him.
No. Well, I am, but like at the same time, but no, I want everybody to improve. I used to be the guy that when I was starting to go into OSW and I just got into A class, my friends or somebody's car was down, but I really wanted to drive with them. I stopped driving, helped them figure the car out so I could improve.
Yeah,
Because when Brian had a problem, I wanted to help Brian.
yeah.
I grew as a driver because of Brian. There was a guy.
It's not Tyler and I are.
Yeah.
If Tyler's not driving, like let me help you.
Yeah, please. It's like if you drive with consistent, fast, good people,
Yeah,
you eventually
yeah.
become a fast.
And it's awesome to drive with somebody that you drive with all the time. You know what they're gonna do, so you can start pushing your limits a little bit past like your comfort level because you can expect what they're gonna do. Versus when you drive with randoms, you'll never be comfortable pushing that limit because there's a chance that you'll mess up your car.
Exactly.
And then I mean, I guess my Tyler is your Brian.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah. Ah, man, I love driving with Brian. Brian taught me how to use grip. Brian, like, when I went to his house one time, when he installed my page, we realized that I was driving with my offset rack spaces on backwards.
Dude, I did the same thing on my Dia. I did the same thing.
Again, okay driver, terrible mechanic.
Well, did you have Wi-Fi when you did that?
Why so when I did
You have the picture and it's,
Yeah.
I remember like it's you have front rack and rear rack and I didn't pay attention to that part. And you looked at the first thing on the how-to.
Sure did.
And you did that, which it's the rear rack that's the first thing and we're front rack. And you did the wrong.
No, we're rear rack.
I was rear rack, so opposite. But you looked at the first thing on the how-to, you did that. I had so many issues with my car to where when I was tandeming,
It locks.
no, I didn't have that issue.
Oh, shit.
I had the issue that I would start off at the front wheel of the lead, and by the time we were done with the turn, holding the same angle, same power, same everything,
It walks, right? It like,
I would be down by the rear wheel. And I'm like, I can't get on this guy's door. Like, and I would start surging on Tyler at his hood.
Yep.
So that midway through the turn, I could be at the door.
Yep.
And I'm like, I'm not like, I don't suck that bad. Like, what am I doing? The ankle's the same, the power's the same, everything's the same. And then I started doing a little bit of research and it was like, change your Ackerman.
yeah.
And I realized that I was just completely wrong.
It's one little thing.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of research it took for you to do that, the average person in like the novice level of the sport would have never figured that out. And like that just is like another barrier to entry to be competitive in the league.
Yeah. Having a well set up car can do a lot. Like, look how far some dudes with like stock Z33, Z34s, how far they can take those cars.
Yeah.
With stock engines, most of the time it's a nitrous, but just don't throw your car together. Take the 5 minutes to just do like a line, just even by, I just eyeball on your car, add bare minimum.
Yeah. Don't tell Tyler that. He doesn't align his cars. He just drives them.
Tyler could be probably a lot better if he just spent 5 more minutes on it.
No, he doesn't. Dude, he'll literally look at his car. It's like, yeah, I mean, it looks aligned, but like, it hasn't been aligned since he put all the parts on it. No caster, no nothing. Like,
It works for him. It works for him.
yeah, dude. I mean, you see how he drives.
Oh, Tyler rips.
yeah.
And there's no complaints, but I swear that my car felt like it had more horsepower after I aligned it correctly and managed to get a full contact tire on the rear, that it felt like I could drive faster on a used or a Baleno.
Yeah.
Or even these. Oh my God, these things are ridiculous too. But if you just spend a lot of time and just figure out your suspension geometry and just actually use it,
Yeah.
feel like the driver that you want to be.
Have you ever corner balanced the car?
Not in drifting.
No, in drifting.
I participated in corner balancing a GT3 Cup car for Sebring,
Okay.
but I've never driven a corner balance car. I really don't see the benefit of a corner balance car in drifting just because we put so much load specifically to the rear tires.
Yeah.
I don't know what benefits you would get out of it.
Corner balance left and right, maybe when you transition. I don't know how much it would make a difference. I have issues with the West Coast of that, and I'm thinking like maybe I want to corner balance it, but it's like, you know what it is? It's me blaming the car.
If you really wanted to get nitty gritty with what you want to get out of your car, which I think only like 10% of drifters do,
Yeah.
is to adjust your alignment dependent on the track you're going to. Like I know I saw one time Ginge, he adjusts his rear right tire depending on the OSW layout to maximize the amount of the tire grip on that corner and push the car out of that corner to like dive in on the door or that's there. So that's how you can really maximize. Do I have the ability to do that? Sure. Do I? No, I don't.
Yeah, when we did Pro-Am at OSW, it's like rear sway bar, add toe here, add some camber there. I'm like, whoa, bro. Like,
It's serious.
that sounds like a lot of changes. I don't even know if I have the skill level to feel those changes.
When you make changes to your car, do you not feel like a huge dynamic change?
So when I got Andrew's car, he had it all the way hard. This is so granted, he just blew up the diff.
Oh,
So I think he just
he's trying
reinstalled.
to maximize taking grip out of it so he didn't blow probably another diff.
Yeah, which he blew. He was trying to do that because he was getting like an inch of toe in.
Jeez.
So I don't know what he did, but I don't know if it was during the taking apart the car or whatever. But I took the car to OSW for the first time for the test day, and dude, the thing was just slow and it just washed out.
Yeah.
Like I had no forward bite. So I talked to David Barba,
Oh, okay.
because he came
Who I
up.
got the yellow car from.
Oh, really? That's funny. Small circle. Well, we're all in the same area.
Kind of. There's a very small circle. Actually, I didn't build a car, but I got it from somebody else.
Okay, but he came to grab the some tires. He bought tires, just on a side funny story. Bought tires like a week prior, and never came to pick them up for store pickup. And I hit him up on Friday. I'm like, "Hey, are you gonna pick up those tires? Because I'm going to Orlando tomorrow, and I can bring them." He's like, "Bro, I'm trying to drive left foot Sunday. I didn't know how I was gonna get the tires. If you bring them to Orlando, you're a lifesaver."
So awesome.
Yeah, so I brought him to Orlando, and I was like, I have no forward bite. Do you think I should add toe in? Because like I don't really know what I'm doing. I drive the car, but like I don't know what I'm doing. And he was like, no, soften the suspension. So I check it, and it's all the way hard. I'm like, oh. So then I brought it to 15 of 30 clicks, and I felt a huge difference. But typically, like I'll feel something at the track. I don't like making changes at the track because I like driving.
Yep.
So I come home and then I do multiple things. But then the next time I drive, it's been 2, 3, or 4 weeks, and I don't really correlate. I want to do like a private day with almost like everybody wants to dial in their car.
That's what I typically do.
And like you get 5, 6 guys, and like all of you guys' mindset is to dial in your car, and like you all do a lap. You all talk about what's going on. We all make changes, and we all go back out.
That's a great idea.
I would love to make a video on that.
Drive a bag day? That's a phenomenal idea.
And all the boys are just talking.
Yeah.
What are your experiences? What are you going to do? And what happened when you did that?
Man, actually, it'd be really cool to gather data from a day like that because not all of us have the same chassis.
Yeah.
We can kind of implement the same idea depending on the car's geometry and just share that.
Should we do it?
I don't see why not.
Should we plan an OSW? I feel like OSW left foot would be a private day.
Left foot's 35 minutes for me, so I'm not gonna say no to that.
Traffic when you go to left foot?
Oh, bro, I can take back roads so good.
Yeah, I'm so down.
Yeah, the track was amazing. Track was amazing. It was fast entry, the layout they did. Dude, the vet, guess how many sets of tires I went through all day?
It looks like a new track, so I'm guessing 2. won all day?
Yeah,
And
we
like
went.
90-mile-an-hour entries?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, I was stuck in second because the
Oh.
car isn't happy in third.
Okay.
But second, lighting him up.
Damn.
So you can do third.
It's like 80 miles an hour in a vet, no?
I think Tyler was hitting 80 to 90.
In second gear.
Third. He was hitting 30. He can do third. He's at 410 gear.
Oh, okay.
But I was going second and just like, go, 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 go. Yeah. Limiter.
Yeah.
But he went through like 3/4 of a set of tires.
Wow.
Andrew didn't stop driving all day in the Z and went through half a set of the Z. We're all in Zach
The
Nova.
magic of the year, bro. If you do it right.
You don't stop driving. You don't go through tires. Nothing riding.
I burned like a third of quart of oil, I think.
That's a D thing.
Yeah. And it pisses oil again.
Oh,
I got it fixed.
pissing oil again.
The vet's pissing oil too.
Yeah, LS don't like. I bet it's a rear main seal.
The West Coast Corvette's pissing oil. East Coast Corvette's pissing oil. My Z's pissing oil. Everything's pissing oil.
It's got oil if it's getting rid of it.
But if you know how all the tech sheets always have like no oil leaks, I'm screwed no matter what car I take. Just don't look under the car.
Dude, you could be like those drag guys, like they have like engine diapers
Yeah.
and they like grenade the fucking motor. It just all goes into that. It's actually a good race practice, but
I'd like to just not be pissing oil.
yeah, that's actually
Like that'd be my go-to. But I mean, it's not like significant, just small puddles at a time.
let's not pull that up.
So before we wrap this up, I know the answer, but I want to know why. And you've gone both. Do you know where we're going?
Not yet.
LS, Jay-Z, why?
Now, because I'm Jay-Z everything, I'm gonna say Jay-Z.
I know, I figured.
It's just sound at this point.
In what sense is it sound?
The sound of a Jay-Z is just
Oh, the sound.
yes. It's purely a feel base at this point. Like
Yeah.
if I wanted to build a comp car, I'd probably go LS.
Okay.
Like an LS a 7 of some kind if it's in the budget of Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
But I'd probably go LS because NA is the easiest thing to drive. It's relatively reliable after you do some minor things to it. And it's great. It's cheap, it's consistent, it's repeatable, it's easy to pull heads if you blow something. You don't have to redo your timing if you don't know what you're doing. LS is just like, let's say you're driving in Georgia and you blow something up. Summit Racing's right there, and you have like an unlimited supply of parts. So if it was a comp car, LS all day long. But if it's a party car, like what I'm doing now,
They do it with like the right blow off valve and the right like your car, which you guys are about to see him rip it.
yeah,
But it sounds nasty. And when you see like Adam LZ's car,
sounds
where
great.
he's sitting on limiter, oh, that's music to the ear.
Every engine and S chassis that you could, like the only thing I haven't done is a K series, and I love the way the Jay-Z's feel, sound, and everything else. And I don't know, it's so reliable. Like I've never laid on limiter in an engine how I do with the Jay-Z in my life. I get made fun of online. It's like, you're an irresponsible bad driver. Like, no, bro, I like limiter. It's bro, I want to do this, but I want to do it. It's sick. Is like, am I gonna crack a piston and maybe hurt something? Maybe, but I'll just build another.
It's worth it.
Yeah, it's just good. It's fun. Just don't take everything so seriously.
Yes.
It's a good motor that you can abuse. And there's guys out there that I've hung out with. They're like, yeah, we go back on track at like 280. And I'm like, you're insane.
That's
You're insane. I don't do that, but they have.
yeah.
And
It's not because they do that. You should.
right. Like, yeah, don't do it. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah. But like, just feels, sounds, and just.
How's that power band been compared to like LS linear, VQ linear, like getting that turbo in there?
So I think I've clutch kicked less on a KA car than I do on a JZ car. Well, let me just rephrase that. My turbo is very, very, very old. It's an old TD06. It's purely there because it sounds awesome. It sounds so cool with no blow valve. It's just a cool old-fashioned turbo that now I've upgraded it to a billet wheel, so it's a little bit more modern feeling.
Yeah.
But it's lazy. It's very, very, very lazy. Like you have to keep it alive, so you have to keep the RPM up no matter what you do. But that's fun.
Yeah.
That's what adds to it. Like you have to work for your driving. And I know it doesn't make sense for people that are new, that are just working to just be able to drive.
Yeah.
And you get to a certain point, you want to work.
It has that extra thrill factor, especially when you're doing like a solo ride.
Yeah, because you can get a little bit more aggressive. You
Yeah.
try new things. Like if you look at footwork of JC drivers, they're doing like a lot of just keep everything alive. So you're looking at like what looks like flat, but your feet are just doing everything they can to just keep the turbo alive and lit up. But it's really, really, really fun because with that VQ and LS, you put it in the gear and you stay on the gas, and the foot kind of just does this, and then the runs over.
Yeah.
But some people like that, and I used to be that guy. And it's fun, it's consistent, you do the thing.
Yeah, until you get to a certain point, then you want a little bit more spice.
Yeah.
You know, talking about the limiter, on my other Corvette, the West Coast one, I don't have a limiter. So it's a spark cut, I think it's called.
Ignition cut. That's
Ignition
what I
cut.
have in the JZX too.
So, well, mine does not sound like that. Mine sounds more.
Oh, it's a soft limiter.
Yeah.
Huh.
And I've always hated it. When I got Grindle's car, he put a 2-step box in it.
Oh, nice.
Super simple.
Yeah.
My first time driving it and feeling 2-step was at OSW. Bro, every single lap that I did, just laying on the limit. That's when I started.
Rod, dude.
That's when I developed an oil leak. I will be honest with you. Before OSW, I did not have an oil leak. After OSW, I had an oil leak.
Get push rods. Get hardened push rods if you can.
That requires opening the motor.
No, it doesn't. You take the Velcro fob, you take the work arms off, and then you just pull them out and put new ones in. Just make sure you get the same length. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's why LSs are great.
That sounds like, I don't know, more work than I can handle.
No, brother. It's everything's done with an 8 mil and a 10 mil. It's super easy.
Brian, are you free anytime soon? He's the go-to.
Dude, Brian's the goat.
Yeah.
He's the man. I love that guy.
Yeah. You know, when I had my VQ that was piston oil,
Mhm.
he literally ripped out the whole motor, which you said would need to be pressure washed the engine bay, got it all clean. Bro, I've never seen that engine bay look so clean.
Brian just gets it done.
Got it like dialed. And the first time we took it out was when I got the shipment of Nova tires. And we were doing like stuff in the parking lot and we were making content, whatever. Just sat on the limiter for like a minute straight, overheated the car for the first time in my life. And then it started leaking oil. I was like, well, it's kind of like my
fault. You pressurize things. I haven't seen pressure in a while.
But, you know, it was fun.
It is what it is.
Well, thank you for coming on.
Happy to be here.
I appreciate it. You're awesome.
Thank you.
Is there anything you want to add, shout out?
Nah, man, just drive with your heart. Just push, find new limits to your skill and then push harder.
If you need lessons,
Oh, yeah, hit me up.
he's got a car ready and soon.
Yeah, TBD.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.